What is swing weight in a golf club and how does it affect the performance of your shots? Let's head on the TaylorMade tour truck and find out.
Swing weight would be a measuring point where you will get a letter and a number, which is measured 14 inches from the butt of the golf club, which is called the fulcrum point. So you will have a swing weight for any golf club in your bag, whether that's a driver, an iron, a wedge, or a putter. We will have, in terms of a build spec, we will have a swing weight which we will build to, but we could maybe on the tour truck have a certain swing weight that a player would like their putter or driver to be built to, and we have the ability on here to build that to a specific swing weight. It depends player to player and what they want. I mean, typically at retail we would see probably swing weight builds on a driver from kind of D3, D4, D5. Again, there's differences in terms of shaft and maybe length, and even to the putters, you know, right the way down, you could have a putter which is built to D3, but if you look at some PGA Tour players, some of their swing weights on putters could be really heavy. It may be E2, E1, you know, it's totally different to what the player would want to see. It all comes down to feel for the golfer. That's the absolute thing what swing weight will be. You know, with a driver, a swing weight from D0 to D6 is going to feel totally different for that individual golfer. And there's so much more emphasis on that now in terms of different shafts, you know, counterbalance shafts. That's obviously going to influence swing weight as well. And that's the same for amateur golfers and professional golfers out there as well. If you imagine the higher the letter and the higher the number, the heavier it's going to be. So C0 to D7, D7 is obviously the heaviest. It works in digits up to 10. So if you like C0 down to C9, and then you'll D0, D1, D2, D3, and so on, and that obviously goes right the way through each letter and number. I think historically somebody like Darren Clarke would always have quite heavy swing weights in his irons. I think in his irons they were D7, D8, so quite heavy in terms of the build, and that's just something because it comes down to the feel of what he's had kind of growing up. So again, I would say sometimes there is difference from player to player, but that would be certainly something of the heavier numbers for a tour player. You know, if you have a slightly slower swinger golfer who has got D0, potentially that might be more suitable for them, but until you're within that fit and you could have the ability to change the swing weight and get that swinger up to D4, then you will know the difference if there's going to be an influence of performance, whether that be that slightly lighter or maybe getting it back to more of a designated swing weight at D4/D5. Is that going to have more mass in the head, which is going to influence more ball speed?